Teacha, did you know that Native Camp has one of the most challenging demo classes compared to other ESL companies? You know why? Because they are perfectionists. Because the thing with Native Camp is we don't really have trainers to prepare us to conduct ESL classes on our own. Basically, everything is self-learned. We have to go through online trainings, watch YouTube videos, and basically learn how to be a native camp teacher all by ourselves. That's why admins or interviewers expect a lot from us, especially during the demo class. And when I say a lot, they expect perfection. And the thing is, they're going to be bombarding you with trap questions. And if you won't be able to answer it correctly, you're automatically out. It's either you would be given a chance to retake your demo class, or unfortunately, it's going to be the end of the line for you. And we don't want that to happen. That's why I'm going to be making this video about the demo class trap questions, usually given by the popular admins, Francis, Melissa, and so on. To prepare you for the worst, to prepare you for the interesting questions that they may ask you, because these are the questions that they will ask you that are not covered by the learning kit. So if you want to learn more and you want to pass your demo class here at Native Camp, you better watch this video. And by the way, to those of you who'd like to be a part of this company and you want to, get or know tips on how to get accepted all on your first take, better send me an email at askteachakaren@gmail.com. I will be sending you tried and tested tips for you to pass. So let's get started with the daily news textbook about drinking tea and coffee. So, what you guys have to familiarize yourselves on would be the parts of speech. Is it a noun, a pronoun, a verb, adjective, and so on? And it's basically going to be a no-brainer for the words covered on the lesson. Say, for example, dementia is a noun. It's part of speech. The problem is, what if the interviewer, the admin, asks you a certain word from the article that's not really one of the words and phrases covered by the lesson? So that's going to be the problem. So once again, if it's a part of speech, it's it's basically among all of these types of parts of speech. And if you want to know more about the part of speech, you basically just have to go to Cambridge English Dictionary. Let's say the word is a neurologist. Neurologists. For me, because I'm a nurse, I know it's a brain doctor. So here you have the definition and you also have the part of speech. It's a noun. Just in case you panic and you forgot that a neurologist is a noun, you could use the Cambridge Dictionary. So what's important here is you get to use all resources available. The admin cannot see your screen, so you could do whatever you want on your screen. Use Google, use any search engine, use a thesaurus, and so on, just for you to find the answers. But what you have to remember is that you have to do it quickly. Okay, you have to stall and make sure there's no dead air. So these are the examples of the questions about parts of speech. For instance, we have here dementia. It's a noun. Every time you explain why it's a noun, it's better if you have an explanation. Dementia is a noun because it's a name of a mental illness. Isn't it a noun? It would be usually a classification or a name of a person, a place, animal, and so on. Another example, let's say, on the drinking tea and coffee material, we have there like a listening comprehension, a Q&A portion. What effect did drinking 3 to 6 cups of both tea and coffee per day have? So the correct answer is letter B. It reduced some types of dementia. Let's say the admin says, I don't understand the meaning of the word reduced. Can you tell me what part of speech is the word reduced? And you're like, what? This is not a part of the words and phrases. But, you could use Cambridge once again. But for me, I do know that reduced is a verb. So that's the kind of question that they're going to ask. And once again, you give some sort of reasoning. Reduced is a verb because it is an action word. To reduce something, right? To reduce something, to lower something. Now, we have here another example. What part of speech is the word because? Say what? Because I do know for a fact that it's a conjunction. Conjunctions are words that connect phrases or sentences in a sentence. So, if you don't know what part of speech is it, then you better ask Google. So, for example, I'm going to use Google. I'm going to type the question, what part of speech is because? You're like panicking. Okay, what part of speech is because? You see here that it's a conjunction. So you'd be able to give the answer. So if you don't know what a conjunction is, you say conjunction meaning. So there you go. So conjunction in grammar, it's a word used to connect clauses or sentences to coordinate them. Now, moving on, we have another kind of trap question, which is the definition of terms. So for the definition of terms, we're just going to ask you, like, what's the meaning of this and that? But again, of course, don't expect that they're going to be asking you the meaning of the words that are already on the words and phrases. Usually they're going to ask you about words or phrases from the article, from the daily news article itself. So, for instance, from the article, we have here the word fourth leading. Fourth leading, what? So they're going to ask, what do you mean by fourth leading? So fourth leading means top four, the first four reasons, right? So this is the fourth reason. Let's say in this sentence, in 2020, stroke was the fourth leading cause of death. So it's the fourth reason, fourth common reason why people would die. So you just have to explain that and write it on the chat box. So you could write fourth leading means top four or first four. For example, the top four causes of death in Brazil. You have to type this on the chat box. Okay. Now let's continue. If the student, let's say, want to know more about the top four causes of death in Brazil, go ahead and Google it. Multitask. Another example of a trap question when it comes to definition of terms would be, what is percent? What does percent mean? So percent, once again, if you use Cambridge Dictionary, it's an adverb. It's an adverb, and it means for or out of every 100. So let's say if this is 32% lower risk of stroke, it means you only have, what, 68% risk of stroke, because 32 plus 68 is equal to 100. You just have to explain the math and write it on the chat box, and make sure you get to explain it properly. Percent means for or out of every 100. So it means if there's a 100% risk of stroke, it's only 32 out of 100. Now, you can even do a screen capture of an illustration of a percent or what percentage means and send this image on the chat box. Now, I've already given this as an example earlier. What is a neurologist? You can Google it. You could use Cambridge. If they ask you about the part of speech, it's a noun. They could also ask you, what does it mean when we say in your opinion? What is the phrase in your opinion? And you're like, what? You could just answer it based on how you understand it, or you could Google it, or get more information online. But in for me, I'd be able to immediately answer it that an opinion is the way you think or feel about something. It's something personal because your opinion, the way you think, may be different from how I think. That's why it means in your opinion. It also means what do you think about or how do you feel about something? So it also means in your view or to your mind or as you see it. These are synonyms. So another example of a trap question in terms of definition of terms would be, what is unmixed coffee? It was also a bit confusing to me because there are no definition of terms, but if you base it on context clues, unmixed coffee would just be, coffee and water, coffee and hot water. So no sugar added, no cream added. It's also on the article, those who drank 2 to 3 cups of unmixed coffee had a 12 to 16% lower risk of stroke. Because imagine if it's mixed coffee, you add sugar, all the cream are there. I don't think you would have a lower risk of stroke, right? So you can Google it as well. Unmixed coffees means no added sugar, milk, or other ingredients. No hazelnut, no caramel, no nothing. So again, this is the usual structure of the question. What is this and that? Another type of trap question is the question how to use, like how to use a certain word in a sentence. Based on the emails that you've sent me, some of you, or one of you rather, asked me, why were you given a markdown by the admin? Uh, the sample sentence, let's say, the question was, how can I use the word cure in a sentence? And the sentence that she made was, the doctor cured her disease and the admin failed her. This is actually wrong because the word cure here is used as a verb, not as a noun. So the example that you should give them, how to use cure in a sentence, should be based on the part of speech or its part of speech. So it should be, the cure for cancer has not been discovered yet. And the word cure here is used as a noun. You see what I'm saying? So again, stick to the part of speech based on the lesson. Another example is, how can we use the word furthermore in a sentence? So you could get examples online, like furthermore in a sentence. This is what I searched. And then you could just copy and paste this. The team was having a great session. And furthermore, all the players were getting along, because furthermore means like moreover, right? Another example is, how can we use the word risk in a sentence? Let's say this one, drinking tea and coffee can lower the risk of dementia. So risk here is not used as a verb, it's used as a noun. So you could get like examples online. I'm using Cambridge once again. This is what I like about Cambridge. When you use Cambridge, you have the parts of speech, you have the definition, and you have sample sentences. It's more efficient. And I'll just copy and paste this on the chat box because, again, in Native Camp, during your demo, chat box is live. Don't be scared of Admin Francis. Don't be scared of Admin Melissa. Just follow the rules and know where to find the answers. So other tips, what if the student doesn't know the answer? What I'm pertaining to is the question and answer portion. Like after reading the article, they're going to be asking you about the article, right? The example was what I placed here earlier. Let me just show you guys. This one. Why did a neurologist say this study was important? So it's like a reading comprehension, listening comprehension, Q&A. And if the student cannot understand the question, don't leave the student hanging. Give them a clue. Like you can find the answer on the first paragraph. You can find the answer on the third sentence, right? So make sure you also help them out if they can't or they pretend not to know where to find the answer. Now let's continue. Another form of trap question is, why is this incorrect? So what we mean by why is this incorrect is, why is my sentence incorrect? For example, you corrected the student. Oh, that's a grammatical error. For example, they said, I prefer coffee than tea. And then you corrected the student. Oh, your sentence is incorrect. It's not I prefer coffee than tea. It's I prefer coffee to tea. So you have to put the correct answer on the chat box and explain to them why their answer is incorrect. So you have to make it clear that the words than and to are both prepositions and they are used to compare. But the thing is, coffee is not being compared to tea in taste or action. That's why we do not use than. It is presented as a preference. When you prefer something and you're using the word prefer in a sentence, it should use, or you should use, the preposition to, not than. Now, this is going to be the tricky part, guys, because this is where you'd be able to put your, your grammar, your knowledge of grammar to use. And you really have to be quick in, finding the answers online or better yet, be able to explain the error on your own. Like, why is my answer incorrect? There has to be a why. You have to explain it. So this is an example. And then another example is, let's say for this question, do you think it is important for scientists to conduct dementia-related research? Yes, because dementia-related research are helpful to society. You should be able to capture that. And you're going to say, just to give feedback on your grammar, it's supposed to be yes, because dementia related research is helpful to society. Because research is a non count noun, it means it doesn't have a plural form, it's always singular. So the last form of trap question would be asking for examples. Can you give me an example of, for instance, types of dementia? Because it's covered by the article. Once again, please use Google. See, there are answers. Oh, there's one last type of trap question. We have synonyms and antonyms. And with this, you got to use thesaurus. Let's say, other than the word cure, what other words could I use in its place? Or does the word dementia have an opposite word or so, anything like that? So you could use thesaurus. Let's see if dementia has an opposite. Dementia. Let's see. Synonyms. Dementia. Okay, it's a brain damage or a mental disorder. That's a synonym. Okay, pretty good. Um, what about the word risk? Does it have an antonym? So there you go. Risk, danger, possibility, uncertainty. And then we also have antonyms, which would be certainty, security, plan, and so on. So just in case they ask you about that, use thesaurus. All right, there you go. There you have it, teachers. The Native Camp demo class trap questions for the material about drinking tea and coffee. So, pretty much, this is going to be the structure or the topics that they're going to be, asking you about. The exact questions wouldn't be exactly the same, but the pattern would be similar to the questions that we have covered. What's important is you are ready. You are prepared with, because you have anticipated possible questions. You are prepared because you studied the other words and other phrases that are not necessarily the ones tackled in class. And you know how to actively listen for, errors, grammatical errors, or pronunciation errors, and correct them during the class. I wish you the best of luck during your application, and know that if you have any questions, you could comment down below and I'll do my best to answer as soon as I can. Send me an email once again at askteachakaren@gmail.com if you want to get, tips on how to pass your native camp application all on your first take. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Teacha Karen, and please stay tuned on Wednesdays, as that's usually when I upload new content. Thank you so much for watching, and be a blessing to the people around you. Bye.